As if Manny Pacquiao, in the middle of his prime, said, "I'm going to fight MMA."
Man to my left, if he was from the UK, he would be what we call a national treasure. He would be a superstar.
What makes Manny Pacquiao a name that still turns heads in every corner of the boxing world? Why do every pundit, promoter, and fighter feel compelled to weigh in whenever PacMan steps back into the ring?
Damn. If you had them little 8-ounce whatever gloves.
Manny.
Okay.
Yeah, Manny.
Yeah. Pacquiao's announcement of a comeback sent a jolt through boxing corridors, from dingy gym lockers to high roller suites. Talk of a 46-year-old legend challenging for another belt may seem like a late chapter in an epic saga, yet the simple sight of Pacquiao bouncing into view under the bright lights rekindles a flame that few fighters ever ignite. His speed, once the stuff of highlight reels, now stands as a living museum piece that veterans admire, while fans young enough to think the internet has always existed still erupt with excitement when they see him move.
Manny Pacquiao, in the middle of his prime, said, "I'm going to fight MMA."
Joe Rogan's take on the return cut through pleasantries with his trademark bluntness. He warned of the risks, shaking his head at slow reflexes and fragile joints. Yet even he couldn't hide a flicker of excitement when describing Pacquiao.
Probably get strangled, probably get taken down, strangled, and he would be helpless. It's a different skill set. There's so much more to MMA. To me, it's more exciting to watch.
The dichotomy of danger and thrill fuels every discussion in Rogan's world. Boxing at age 46 reads like a Shakespearean drama turned into a fight card. Tragedy and triumph colliding in a single moment.
Jimmy as well. Manny was like, "Shall we do a fight? Shall we?" Like, he's quite serious about it. He was like, "Shall we make a fight?"
Delivered a conflicting verdict, praising the heart that propelled Pacquiao to 8 divisions while wondering aloud whether fairness demands giving space to younger contenders. At the same time, his eyes lit up at the mention of mega payday backers from the
Jimmy as well. Manny was like, "Shall we do a fight? Shall we?" Like, he's quite serious about it. He was like, "Shall we make a fight happen?" I go, "Listen, if you can get Thunder, if you can get someone like a Turkey Yellow Shake on board, then why not?"
He would lace up his gloves again only if the right money and match stirred his blood. His ambivalence captured the larger debate: respect history or protect the next generation.
If he was from the UK, he would be what we call a national treasure. He would be a superstar. And he should be.
Promoter extraordinaire, tapped into the tension between spectacle and sport. He questioned the ethics of a champion sidelined for years jumping back in to chase gold, yet he acknowledged the siren song of a Pacquiao headline. For Hearn, box office receipts matter as much as competitive integrity, and his words carried the weight of business decisions that ripple through every fighter's purse.
I mean, maybe I'm clickbaiting. Maybe watch this space.
And if the WBC clear Conor, do you still have to go to the British Boxing Board, or do they have to just be governed by whatever the WBC say?
No, I mean, ultimately, it depends on the ruling on the test.
The boxing boardroom drama over Conor Benn's clearance by the WBC adds flavor to Pacquiao's comeback. Will regulators bend for pay-per-view pulls? Will test rulings twist under pressure? The shadow of bureaucracy looms large, even as fans crave nothing more than the sound of gloves hitting leather. Each ruling becomes a subplot in an unfolding drama that transcends any fighter's technique.
When I fought Errol Spence, and he was the first fighter to ever stop me, and everyone was asking, "Man, I mean, he must hit harder than Pacquiao and Rusan." And I said, "No, actually, he doesn't hit harder than I feel."
Pacquiao's 4-year hiatus reads like an epic intermission. Memories of his last fight flicker. A man moving well but not as crisp, legs betraying the decades. Yet even with cramps creeping in, he scanned the room like a king surveying his court. His grace under duress spoke volumes about the will that defined his career. While aging fighters tend to fade quietly, Pacquiao storms back with a flourish that rewrites the aging
Think about
script.
Mario Barrios.
What I'm saying is his mentality is what I love. This guy came out of losing to Tank Davis, goes up to 147, fight Keith one time Thurman, lose to him and fight. Yeah. Boy, that fight, Sean Porter just taking them on.
Mario Barrios is his mentality. This guy bounced back after losing to Gervonta Tank Davis, then moved up to 147 pounds to fight Keith Thurman, a one-time champ, and lost to him too. After that, he took on Jaron Ugos. Boy, Ennis, who's no joke. Kind of like Sean Porter just taking on tough fights. Mario Barrios, the younger champion waiting for Pacquiao, finds himself cast as both a foil and a footnote. His youth and power seem perfectly designed to test the Legends
Man,
Medal.
you love that shit, man. And not everybody's perfect. People lose in life. But when you look at this guy come off 2 losses and then take on somebody like Ugas and win.
Barrios carries the swagger of a modern star, pumping his fists on camera to signal he's ready. Yet every stride toward the ring is cast under Pacquiao's long shadow. The upcoming bout feels less like a fight and more like a passing of the torch, if Barrios can snatch it. Pacquiao's looming Senate campaign adds an almost surreal twist. Can a man juggle politics and pugilism on the grandest stage? The request to reserve T-Mobile Arena hinges on his legislative schedule, while Filipinos back home track ballots as eagerly as they clip tickets in Manila. His name on the ballot packs as much punch as his left hook, and these dual roles defy the conventional career path. Planning critics often point to the financial undercurrent behind every comeback, arguing that the narrative of "for the love of the sport" rarely holds true when paydays eclipse belts. Yet Pacquiao's motives seem more complex than a simple ledger. He once boxed to escape poverty, and now he returns partly to prove that poverty won't define his twilight years. Even skeptics tip their hats to his refusal to fade away quietly. The hunger for challenge still burns brighter than 1,000 spotlights. His 8-division legacy defies any ordinary record book. From flyweight scrapper to welterweight marvel, his shifts in weight read like chapters in a novel. Few athletes command respect across 2 weight classes. Pacquiao claimed 8. Each jump required recalibrating speed, strength, and strategy, and his willingness to chase larger opponents echoes a mythic quest.
Yeah, give me, baby. All right. Thank you, bro.
Mike Tyson's barbed remarks added spice to the discourse. He lauded emerging phenoms, yet hinted at Pacquiao's faded power once the testing tightened. Tyson's hyperbole clashed with his admiration for aggression, sparking debate on purity versus prowess. The rivalry of past champions over current greatness unfolds like a soap opera, with Tyson's gruff endorsement carrying the weight of a heavyweight's nostalgia.
Fighter you would most enjoy watching right now?
Out of the big time fighters now?
Yeah.
Pacquiao looks sensational as that fight.
Skepticism about title legitimacy lit another fuse. He dismissed certain belts and questioned Pacquiao's standings, highlighting the boxing world's divisive ranking system. Fans wonder if belts measure true ability or are just paperwork. This cacophony of titles leaves room for fighters like Pacquiao to navigate loopholes, and the resulting controversy fuels more chatter than any jab ever.
Fight Manny Pacquiao. I think you were like 27, 28 when you wanted to fight Pac. Why didn't that fight happen?
Man, I hear so many excuses like they didn't want it, but Freddie Roach on the record saying he didn't want Pacquiao to fight.
Beyond pundits, broadcasters, and writers weigh in with satirical flair. Headlines tease apocalyptic predictions of the ring's fate, while columns paint Pacquiao's return as either a circus or a cathedral. Each metaphor reveals more about the observer than the fighter. In this way, commentary becomes a mirror to boxing's soul. Whether saved or damned, Pacquiao's name remains.
Top Rank wanted to protect Pacquiao because of the money issue. You know, that was their cash cow.
But hell, you could have been the cash cow.
They don't think like that.
They don't think of him as just a cash cow. Social media exploded like an overcharged battery, with memes of Pacquiao in superhero capes clashing alongside gifs of him as an aging gladiator. Fans tagged friends in frantic threads, pleading for predictions, while algorithms swapped highlights faster than any actual fight footage. The digital roar seemed louder than any crowd in Vegas. Pacquiao's global brand transcends national borders with the speed of a viral clip.
Because of the money issue. You know, that was their cash cow.
But hell, you could have been the cash cow.
They don't think like that. So they didn't want to mess up the money that they was getting Pacquiao at the time. So other reasons, I don't know.
The Philippine diaspora held watch parties from New York to Sydney, with Pinoys decked in flags cheering on a son of poverty-turned-billionaire legend. Conversations shifted effortlessly from politics to punch stats, as Pacquiao embodied their collective aspirations of triumph over hardship. His Senate bid only cements his dual role as athlete and statesman. The affection from his homeland forms a potent undercurrent in every fight. Veteran trainers recall Pacquiao's early days in tiny gyms, powered by nothing but hope. He learned footwork on uneven floors and sparred barefoot against hardened pros. Those humble origins forged a warrior spirit unmatched in modern stables. Every punch carries echoes of rice fields and childhood grit, and that rawness fuels nostalgia for an era when blood and sweat mattered more than metrics. His story isn't just ringside drama, it's a testament to raw human will.